Can we open the window?
We're just waiting for our county attorney to return. 12 minutes. Pardon?
I don't think
Okay, go ahead. Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Putnam County Legislature. Today is July 1st, 2025. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and legislating officers please lead us.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing, and I'd ask the legislative elder to lead us with the legislative prayer.
we seek blessings on the tasks before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. Amen.
Roll call, please.
District 1, Legislator Gouldman.
President.
District 2, Legislator Gouldman.
Present.
District 3, Legislator Addonizio. District 4, Legislator Russo.
Present.
District 5, Legislator Elman.
Here.
District 6, Legislator Jonke.
Present.
District 7, Legislator Birmingham. District 9, Legislator Trolley.
Present.
District 8, Chair Nuvance.
Present. Next, I'd like to make a motion to accept 2 proclamations to add to the agenda tonight. May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? These proclamations came out after the agenda was printed, so we just essentially add them. And I would like to call on Legislature Crowley, and should be presenting the designated July 21st through July 27th as Putnam County 4-H Showcase Week.
Is anyone here from Cornell Cooperative or 4-H?
I'm from 4-H.
Anybody who wants to come up? And
I'm also on the board.
there's a lot of people involved, so the more the merrier. Come on. Listen, there's a lot of moving parts, so I think the more the merrier. Thank you for coming out.
Okay.
Whereas the 4-H Showcase, sponsored by Cornell Cooperative Extensions, Putnam County is celebrating its 4th year. And whereas the Putnam County 4-H Showcase presents the many interests and accomplishments of Putnam's children, adults, and programs. It continues to grow as an educational, cultural, and fun event that provides a wholesome experience for families from Putnam and its surrounding region. And whereas the Putnam County 4-H Showcase enjoys the support and dedication of 4-H club leaders, members, and families, master gardeners, volunteers, and community service organizations, including Rotary clubs, as well as many local businesses. Whereas the Putnam County 4-H Showcase delights visitors throughout a weekend with activities at the Cornell Cooperative Extension Expo Barn, local artists, craftsmen, tents, truck crafts, and other activities will be designated and taking place during July 21st through the 27th. There be it resolved, Putnam County Executive, Putnam County Legislator recognize and congratulate the annual 4-H Showcase, invite all Putnam County residents to attend during the week of July 21st and 27th. And the exact dates of the 4-H are the 26th and 27th at the Veterans Memorial Park at upper level, and I think it's 10 to 7 on Saturday and 10 to 5 on Sunday.
And we have pony rides.
And a duck race, the duck race, there's duck derby, and many other vendors. So we urge you all to come out. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
But do you have anything to say? No, thank you very much. I didn't know what we were doing, so. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to recognize Legislator Russo for the pretrial probation parole supervision week.
I'd like to present this proclamation for pretrial probation parole supervision week starting July 20th through the 26th of 2025. Whereas community corrections is an essential part of the justice system, and whereas the community corrections professionals uphold the law with dignity while recognizing the right of the public to be safeguarded from criminal activity. And whereas community corrections professionals are responsible for supervising adult and juvenile offenders in the community, and are trained professionals who provide services and referrals to offenders. Be it resolved that Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim the week of July 20th to the 26th as pretrial probation parole supervision week, and encourage all Putnam County residents to honor these community connections, corrections professionals, and to recognize their achievements. So thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to be recognized for all the hard work our officers do. And I think it's. Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item number 4 is acceptance of minutes of the special meeting, April 28th, 2025, the budget and finance meeting, June 3rd, 2025, and the special meeting, June 10th, 2025. Number 5 is correspondence from the county auditor. There was no activity during this reporting period. Moving on to agenda item number 6, pre-filed resolutions. 6A is approval for the Budget and Finance Committee. This is the approval for the 2026 Decentralized Budget Review Process for preparation and adoption of the 2026 county budget. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
I call on Legislator Jonke for the Personnel Committee.
Thank you, Chairwoman Sage. On behalf of legislators Addonizio, Gouldman, and myself, I'd like to move forward with item 6B. It's the approval of a fund transfer for the Health Department. It's former Interim Commissioner of Health. It says payout accruals.
Discussion.
Comment.
Mr. Montgomery.
Dr. Neshwa, correct? I think this is the final round of issues that we have, and I want to once again thank Dr. Neshwa for his guidance for Putnam County. He's been with us for years, got us through COVID, was a rocky start between he and I'll admit it. But through it we became friends, and I'm just really glad that he's here to act as a consultant for Putnam County Department of Health.
Thank you. Anyone else? I mean, I will echo those sentiments from Legislator Montgomery. Dr. Neshwa served our Putnam County Health Department from December 2015 through March 2025, and he's been with the county many, many years before that. I thank him for his service, and I thank him for his willingness to make a smooth transition in the health department and to stay on as our health consultant. With that, I will make a motion to, I'm sorry. Roll call.
Legislator Addonizio, Legislator Birmingham, Legislator Crowell,
Yes.
Legislator Ed,
Yes.
Legislator Gouldman,
Yes.
Legislator Young,
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery,
Yes.
Legislator Russo,
Yes.
Chairwoman Sage.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 6C is the approval of a fund transfer for the Health Department Fiscal Technician Retirement temporary line. This is in the amount of $35,000, no fiscal impact.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Another comment, if I may, this is also someone who's served Putnam County and is retiring. Again, we've had some healthy discussions during committee meetings and not so healthy sometimes. And I really appreciate his work and glad he's going to stay on as a temporary consultant, and I wish him well in his retirement.
Thank you. Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye. Item 6D is the approval of a fund transfer, the Health Department, Senior Fiscal Management Retirement, temporary. This is in the amount of $68,000, no fiscal impact.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 6E is approval for a fund transfer, also in the Health Department, Senior Fiscal Manager Retirement payout accruals.
Discussion.
This is a payout for unused vacation time, personal time. But the agenda item right before that was allocating funding for him to continue on as a consultant in his retirement. This is Bill.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to Protective Services Committee, I call on Chairman of Protective Services, Paul Young.
Thank you, Chairwoman Sage. On behalf of legislators Addonizio, Birmingham, and myself, I'd like to move forward with agenda item 6F. It's the approval of a budgetary amendment. It's the Sheriff's Office, Bureau of Criminal Investigations, Homeland Security Investigation, HSI state and local overtime grant funding adjustment. It is in the amount of $4,500, and there is no fiscal impact.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to Rules, Enhancements, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. I will call on Legislator Elner, who is on that committee.
Thank you, Chairwoman Sage. On behalf of Chairman Birmingham, Legislator Gouldman, and myself, we have 3 items. First item is 6G, which is the approval of grant funding. It's Budgetary Amendment 25A051, so the SPCA can use dormitory funds to purchase a vehicle. The total is $50,000, and there's 0 fiscal impact for this year and next year.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 6H is the approval for Putnam Arts Council's grants for 2025.
Discussion. Legislator Montgomery.
Sorry, I wasn't here for the original discussion in committee, but I just wanted to thank Joyce Cohn, who's in the audience tonight, and the Putnam Arts Council volunteer organization in a time when we're losing federal funding across the board in our county for arts organizations, and they provide a resource for our kids, for income, for sales tax revenue, and when they host their events, and they're a great economic boom for Putnam County, and they provide just wonderful cultural and arts events. And they work really hard for very little money, as you can see in what we're approving tonight. So thanks for the due diligence and all that the Arts Council does. I hope we can get you some more money this year in the budget.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Joyce Cohn and all the volunteers at the Putnam Arts Council. You attend every meeting, you answer all our questions, you're a very thorough operator. I appreciate you bringing your finance accounting person here. We have 7 wonderful organizations before us that will be receiving grant funding, and I'm very happy to be in favor of this. Anyone else?
Thank you. I just want to say, Joyce and Tina, thank you, and everybody who's been waiting, thank you for being patient. We appreciate that, and good luck with all of your wonderful events that you have about.
Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye. Agenda item 6I is approval of a local law to amend Chapter 220, Article 10. It's entitled Exemption for Qualified Members of Volunteer Fire Departments and Ambulance Corps.
Discussion. Legislator Gouldman.
Thank you, gentlemen. I believe during committee we discussed going to 2 years. I'd ask council, did we look into that and see if that was legal to do that?
Through the chair, yes, we did. I believe the current one before has been changed to reflect the 2 years. And for clarification and what the confusion stems from, there are 2 identically named sections of the law. One pertains to smaller municipalities, one pertains to larger ones. But again, they have the same subsection, same name, same everything else. They're nearly identical. Pretty much every other way. The 2 to 5 year difference is the major difference that has since been amended and I believe it's reflected in those before you.
It's reflected in section 2, paragraph E of our resolution here. Of our, of our county code changes. Anyone else? Legislator Jonke.
Just for clarification, we already have the exemption. This is to exempt those people who are volunteers outside of the municipality in which they reside. That's correct, Council?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Legislator Montgomery.
I am in full support of this. As you may all know, EMS is not essential anywhere in New York State. There is a packet of bills before the state legislature to make it essential. Our legislature passed a resolution to support that endeavor, and this is just a small measure right now that we can take, and we've taken anything that is offered to us as a governing body, taxing entity, to offer support for our fire and EMS workers. And we have a long way to go to continue this work.
Do we have the correct, section 3B also? It has 5 years on it, at least 5 years.
Yeah, there was only the one section that changed. There are other periods of time in the statute that one remains 5 years and one that's 20 years. But the 2 to 5 that we're referring to was changed.
Thank you. Also, I think it's a great idea because the reality is throughout Putnam County and throughout New York State actually, volunteerism in the ambulance corps and the fire departments are decreasing. I remember several years ago, there were multiple volunteers from high schools and young adults and senior citizens who were volunteering in the fire departments. And we're not getting that anymore throughout the county. So whatever we can do to encourage volunteerism for these departments would be very helpful. Imagine if someone called 911 and no one shows up. That could be a major problem. If that occurs, then it would have to be paid departments. 7 days a week, 3 shifts a day, would cost each town and the county a lot of money, and we really can't afford that. So this is a good alternative to entice people to participate in our departments.
I'd also like to just make note that most of these volunteers, in order to be certified and recertified as volunteers, have to go through extensive training and frequently at their own expense. And the purpose of this exemption is to maintain the ranks of the volunteer corps and encourage volunteers to join. And I think it's a minimum of what we could do here in Putnam County to encourage volunteerism. With that, I will ask all those in favor.
Aye.
Moving on to the Fiscal Service Committee, call on Chairman Elmer.
Thank you again, Chairman Sage. On behalf of myself, Legislators Crowley, Jonke, we have a few items. The first one is approval of budgetary amendment for the Sheriff's Department, their capital project 52405, their life safety systems modernization. Originally, this was to be funded completely with ARPA funds, while administering and doing the work, an additional $16,000 was needed. This particularly has to do with intercom tones and shift changes. Fiscal impact for 2025 is $16,000, no fiscal impact for 2026.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 6K is for the Planning Department. It is recognizing an additional $137,909 of grant funding. This is for the Trolley Modernization and Enhancement program. There's no fiscal impact.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
6L is the budgetary transfer. We have to take $20,798 out of contingency because the MTA is charging us for railroad station maintenance. So fiscal impact 2025, $20,798.
Discussion. Just during the budget process, often it's difficult to project what the maintenance is going to be on these stations, and it ended up being a little bit more, so we have to use money out of contingency to cover the remaining funds. So, all those in favor?
Aye. Item 6N is the approval for a SEQRA negative declaration for a project, Terryville Road, also known as County Road 46, and New York State Route 311. It's for improvements at that intersection.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6N is for approval of the county's proposed public transportation agency safety plan. This is so we are in conformance with federal regulations by NYSDOT.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. Six O is for approval and ratification for grant funding, which is available through the 2025 Consolidated Funding Application Program. It's aimed to improve water quality and improve and maintain infrastructure in Putnam County. Estimated costs for Putnam and Maybrook trails, $376,000, and the Continental Village Dam Aqueduct Road in Garrison, estimated cost $500,000. These applications are for $300,000 towards the $376,000 and $375,000 towards the $500,000.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. Item 6P is the approval of the SEQRA for all potential parcels in the Putnam County Agricultural District.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. Item 6Q is for approval for the inclusion of the parcels into the Putnam County Agricultural District. And Madam Chairman, I would like to separate the question, please. I would like to separate so the 7 parcels that were approved by the Agricultural Board, that we vote on them separately.
And the second vote?
A second
The
vote,
second and
or-
third vote. Is that what you're asking?
Or just a second vote at this point.
So how about we divide the question with the 7 that were passed through the Agricultural Board, and then we vote on the other 2 parcels separately. So we'll vote on Claire Timber Farm and Rainmaker Farm separately.
Yes.
Divided 3 ways?
I was just asking divided too. At this
Yeah.
point,
We'll divide it by 3. So do I need to make a motion to divide the question, or just, so that's how we're gonna vote? So the first vote that we will take, of course, we're gonna discuss it first. The first vote we will take will be for the 7 that were voted on and passed by the Ag Board. So discussion on those parcels. Legislator Jonke.
My first 7 years on the legislature, I voted for every single parcel that was recommended. Last year, there was a discussion about prime soils. And because of that, it seemed like that was a rule that we needed to follow. I voted against properties getting into the ag district. We've learned that that was not really the case, so I'm going to be voting for these parcels.
Anyone else?
You mentioned the forms that are included.
Excuse me?
And you mentioned.
Yes, I'll read off the ones that were approved by the Ag Board were from the Town of Kent, Bowen Farm, LLC, Town of Patterson, Lobster Hill Farm, Putnam Valley, Big Red Farm, Cucumber Hill Farm, Ragash Family Farm, from the Town of Southeast, Barn Dog, LLC, Lobster Hill Farm, White Oak Apiary. May I speak to our council? There was one of these that we are not voting on, and that's because they were already included previously.
Is that the Gouldman form?
Through the chair, if it's already been voted on previously, then.
There was one that was not included because
Artemis.
If it's already in the district, Chairwoman, then it does not need to be voted on again tonight. And if the resolution needs to be amended,
Okay, so I guess, okay.
Bowling Farm has the 26.7 grade, 40 units to include, so it won't be emerging.
Right, so the ones that I read out, those are the correct ones that the Ag Board voted on.
Just for
Those are the ones that the Ag Board recommended.
So that's Bowen Farm,
the 26.73 acres, the one plus.
right, and Lobster Hill Farm, 22.49 acres.
And
Big Red Barn, 67.05 acres. Cucumber Hill Farm, total of 28.85 acres. The Rush Family Farm, total of 33 acres. Tanner Southeast Farm Dog LLC, total acres 6549. Lobster Hill Farm, total acreage 56.13. And White Oak Apiary, 1.14, and that's a total of 8 parcels.
9,
Lobster-
but
Lobster-
I think those
Two.
are 2 towns.
2, so there's
Oh,
9.
okay. Thank you for clarifying, thank you. Okay, so those are the parcels that we're gonna vote on first. Right, is there discussion on those 7 parcels? All in favor?
Aye.
So now we'll vote on the remaining 2 parcels. The first one that we will consider is the Clara Potomac Farm. Olivia and Andrew Wolkin, a total of 1.70 acres. This was one that the Agricultural Board did not recommend being added to the district. Is there discussion on this item? Legislator Owner.
I have a question for council. Is there a minimum acreage requirement? Because some of the things that were said during the public hearing, I want a clarification on that.
through the chair, I don't believe there is a minimum requirement from the research that I've done on this. There are certain sections of the agricultural markets law that pertain to acreage requirements, as well as cumulative sales, especially within the first several years that the business may be in operation. But that really speaks not to eligibility of the parcel to be in, and more to other certain benefits that are.
Protections.
Correct.
Any other discussion? Legislator Crowley.
Thank you so much, Chairman Sage, and also to what Legislative Council just pointed out. With startups, I know there's all different statutes for all different kinds of startups, but we do have that 8-year review coming up, so it would give us the 2 years for these startup farms to be able to go out and inspect them and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that is for all farms that are included in the district, not just the new ones that we're including, and it just happens to fall within the 2-year period. So I think that really gives us a nice window to look through and really see, what a startup looks like from the beginning and the conception of it to where it's supposed to be. And as we navigate through these rough waters, as we have been the last year or so, as the people in the audience, I think it's really important that we're careful when we're setting precedents and taking this very seriously. Because these are their livelihoods, this is something we do every single day, and we need to be very careful when it comes down to determining what we feel is appropriate.
Anyone else?
I'll make a statement. This is tough because, I'm an advocate for farming. I'm not a farmer. I trust wholeheartedly in the process of working diligently to appoint an agricultural district board. And I, like last year, defer to them. I was the one who voted for all the farms that the ag district recommended. This operation serves people I represent, and it's not in my district. but regardless, you know, these are people I like and they run the Grange and it's a great operation, but it's not recommended by the ag district. That doesn't mean that they can't farm, and that doesn't mean that they can't come back next year and hopefully have the things that the ag district board is comfortable with approving. So despite how much I don't like not supporting their farm in my vote tonight, I can't support it because the ag district board did not vote in favor of it. So I will be sorry for my vote, but I have to, you know, vote consistently. I tend to vote with what our advisory boards recommend, and I really believe in that as a legislator. There's a reason why we appoint these boards. There's a reason why I ask for so much information on the people that we appoint these boards, and I don't want to go beyond that right now.
Anyone else? Jonke?
This property is 1.7 acres. As I understood when it was explained to us that there was a settler coming from the property. If there are no fruit-bearing trees on there and there was a beehive that was knocked over by a bear, I don't think they're in a position right now. Well, I'm in favor of the farming, and I spoke with, I don't want to relive the rules committee meeting with Mr. Wolking, but there was some dishonesty there, so I'll be voting against it.
There are trees.
Anyone else?
I'd like to also say that a thank you to the Ag Board. I know it's a group of volunteers that work really hard on our behalf and the entire county. So I want to thank them for going out and visiting all the farms. I too feel that this farm could wait another year before getting in, based on their recommendations.
Thank you.
I feel like these farmers are very experienced. I believe that their farm is going to be very viable, in the future. Again, we have an opportunity a year from now to take a look at this. I misspoke, I do represent this district, and, again, this is a tough vote for me because of all that, and I'm really hoping to see this farm succeed and whatever we can do to help you do that.
Gouldman?
The owners of this farm are farmers. It's in their blood, their grandparents, their parents, and they're very smart when it comes to growing crops. They're in Putnam Valley, and I'm going to be supporting this farm.
So I will, again, defer to the Ag Board and their expertise. I don't deny that the potential is there, and I don't deny that this would be a great farming operation in the future. And I would look forward to reviewing this application further to see how far along we've come. I appreciate your willingness to farm here in Putnam County, where the county executive has just renamed us as the Putnam County where the country begins again. We've gone back to our old model. So I think that the potential is there, and I would be supporting this in the future, but unfortunately not this evening. With that, I will ask for a roll call vote.
Legislator Addonizio. Legislator Birmingham. Legislator Crowley.
Yes.
Legislator Elmer.
It's a very tough vote for me because I'm going to vote with the Ag Board recommendation, so I'm going to have to say no.
Legislator Gouldman.
Yes.
Legislator Jonke.
No.
Legislator Montgomery.
No.
Legislator Russo.
No.
Chairwoman Sage.
No.
Motion fails.
The next farm that we'll be voting on is Rainmaker Farm, Harold Butler, total acreage of 107 acres, 107.5 acres. This is another property that was not approved by the Ag Board, but we will vote again this evening in the legislature. There's a discussion on Rainmaker Farm. Legislator Montgomery.
Again, I hope everyone understands, this doesn't mean that Rainmaker Farm cannot farm. They can farm. And this was a parcel that was not recommended for various reasons by the Agricultural District Board. I appreciate the willingness to farm in Putnam County and Mr. Leffler's experience and his dedication for decades and generations to do so, but I can't be comfortable going outside of the recommendation of our appointed board that is more expert on this than I am, and this is why we appoint them.
Anyone else? Legislator Jonke.
I'll be voting in favor of this because this is an operation that's been in place for 40 years. We just had to transfer the property into another ownership, and Mr. Leffler is recreating his property literally I think it's an adjoining property. So this is something that's been in place for 40 years, and he's just moving it. And the construction is well underway, and I'll be supporting this.
Anyone else? I don't deny that at all. I think Mr. Leffler probably has a wonderful operation. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to tour these, or Ag Board did. I will be depending upon their recommendation. We have our inclusion date period for a reason. At the time when they toured the property, the infrastructure wasn't in place at the time. I understand that it will be in place by the end of the summer, but we have inclusion dates for a reason, and we have to be able to look at that time period. And that to me would start a very dangerous precedent where people will say, well, I'm going to have my barn in next week. Well, I don't know that, so I have no doubt again next year. Please reapply, but for those reasons, I'm not going to be supporting that one this evening. Anyone else? Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Addonizio, Legislator Birmingham, Legislator Crowley.
The same reasons I voted for that one before, I'm gonna vote yes on this one.
Legislator Legislator Elman.
I'd like to abstain. One abstain.
Legislator Gouldman.
Yes.
Legislator Jonke.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
No.
Legislator Russo.
No.
Chairwoman Sage.
No.
Motion fails.
Moving on to agenda item 6R, Services Committee.
This is for the appointment to the Putnam County Soil and Water Conservation District, 2 representatives. One at the recommendation of the Farm Bureau, Ms. Cassandra Roth. The term is for 3 years and it will expire on December 31st, 2027. The second is Mr. Brett Garris, a member at large to fill in the unexpired term of Mr. Garfinkel, who I thank for his service, who has resigned, and that term will expire December 31st, 2026. These people were passed unanimously in the Fiscal Services Committee.
Discussion. Legislator Crowley.
I think it's wonderful that we have people still coming in for volunteer board vacancies. I'm very thankful that they're able to take time out of their day, midday to do this. So I appreciate everybody and I'm happy to support this.
Mr. Montgomery.
First, I'd like to thank Max Garfinkel for his service. I was honored to appoint him to the Phillipstown when I was on the town board to be our wetlands inspector, and he's just been a great resource. And I'm sorry to lose him, but with that, and I hate to lump these 2 individuals together, but this is the way the resolution is spelled out. Cassandra, you've shown up in Putnam County government and attended every meeting and dug in deep, and I'm so trust and feel so comfortable appointing you to this board, and I feel like is one of the most important boards to protect our soil and our water. I know that you're going to do the work because I can see it and I observe it. And Brett, you as well, I am really honored to appoint you to this board because, like Cassandra, you're showing up for meetings, you're teaching yourself how county government works, and that means a lot. It's just showing up and figuring out what local government is about and how these different boards operate throughout the county is way beyond what any person does in terms of, you know, being here and taking the time, your volunteer time to do this. So I'm really excited to appoint both of you.
Anyone else? Legislator Russo.
I want to also thank Max for his time and commitment, and he will be missed. With that said, Cassandra and Brett will both be an asset to the Soil and Water Board. My being on that committee, I'm looking forward to working with both of them. So thank you for your volunteerism, and I appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I was on the Soil and Water Board for quite a few years. I don't remember ever having people so passionate about soil and water before, and it's so refreshing to see. And it's so refreshing to see so many farmers out at this meeting tonight. You really understand what soil and water and how important it is, and I'm very proud that we have two great representatives here tonight. And again, Max Garfinkel was a great addition. I remember I was on the board when he was appointed, and we were all very excited that we had his expertise. I'm sorry to see him go, but I'm really glad that we have some great representatives to fill his shoes. With that, I will, all in favor, please.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to Health, Social, Educational, and the Environmental Committee. I will ask Legislator Russo to bring forward those items.
Thank you, Chairwoman Sage. On behalf of legislators Addonizio, Elder, and myself, I'd like to ask for approval for budgetary amendment of 25A-054 for the Health Committee, a donation from Nuvance Health for tick removal kits. There's no fiscal impact for this year or next year, but it's $3,000 to offset the cost.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the Audit and Administration Committee. On behalf of myself, Legislators Birmingham and Trolley, I would like to bring forward agenda item 6T, which is an approval for budgetary amendment from Finance for the Legal Aid Society Indigent Legal Services. This is in the amount of $242,118. This is money from the state that will be used to help legal aid here in Putnam County. Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item 6U is an approval for budgetary amendment 25A-056 for the Sheriff's Office for an automotive insurance recovery. This is an insurance recovery for the fleet for the BCI for an accident that occurred in March. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item 6U, V. This is an approval for a budgetary amendment for the Youth Bureau. This is to amend the capital projects 52510 for the Youth Bureau relocation to Tilly Foster Farm. This is in the amount of $95,000. This is to buy furniture, outdoor umbrellas, area rugs, 4 smart TVs, 4 Logitech conference room cameras, and 3 additional network phones to outfit our youth bureau relocation to Tilly Foster Farm. Is there discussion?
Just a comment.
Legislator Montgomery.
I'm just so thrilled that we're using Tilly Foster for this purpose and that the Youth Bureau has a home and that they're going to be able to walk in to a whatever state-of-the-art building that's nicely designed with nice furniture. And I think that's the least we can give our youth to do good work.
Anyone else? I think this is a testament to Putnam County's commitment to our youth and our town, and our commitment to sharing Tilly Foster, of course, with all of our children. Have a nice place for them to be. Anyway, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right. Agenda item number 7 is other business. We have no other business before us. I would like to move on to agenda item number 8. This is recognition of public on agenda items. If you please come to the podium, state your name and the town in which you reside, and the agenda item in which you would like to comment. Welcome.
My name is Linda Town Carmel, and agenda item number is 6H.
6.
H as in hell.
6H, approved from the Parks Council.
Yeah, this is in regards to 6H, and it's been some long, hard, arduous, unnecessarily horrible, horrific racist ride to get here for myself. And I am going to link this to 6H because it has to do with all of you sitting on this board. And it also has to do with a primary election that was lost by a member on this board because of things that were brought up from the PAC, Putnam Arts Council grant. 3 mailers were mailed out that would put myself, my community, as second-class citizens. The mailers said that Blacks and LGBTQ people who receive a 501c3 grant from the Putnam Arts Council, that shouldn't have happened. I found that to be so disgustingly biased. And people would stand by someone that would put that in a mailer, that Black people shouldn't apply or receive a grant for arts, and if you're LGBTQ, you shouldn't receive or apply for a grant. That is relegating us and yourselves to a lot of hate and racism. I mean, you shouldn't stand for it, and someone here should have spoken out about that because it's wrong. I mean, why would you even allow that to happen and not say anything about it? I mean, that is, what you're doing is you're saying that you're not going to represent all of your constituents the same way. You're being biased against your own constituents, and you have it in a mailer, and not one person stood up and said, this is wrong. You know, I mean, that is what you call taxation without representation. I shouldn't even be paying taxes in Putnam County because of the
That was
way
a
you
political
treat.
mailer, not to interrupt you. I think that was a political mailer and it had nothing to do with any
But it
financing.
had everything
Anything
to
from Putnam
do
County.
with a grant that was received, and I guess I would hope that everybody on here knows how a 501c3 works. You know, I received I put in for a grant, and I had to go through a 501c3 organization, and that's how I received the grant, because I don't have a 501c3 organization personally. But both myself and the organization that saw fit to help me receive a grant to give an event in Putnam County that everybody enjoyed and benefited from, and this is how you bring people together, and that mailer that was out there, the person that is running to take the seat on this board is actually saying that that we have an agenda. So what's his agenda? His agenda is to separate people. His agenda is to make people second-class citizens. His agenda is to say black is not worthy of citizenship, of being treated as a resident of Putnam County, and he's not going to represent us the same as everybody else. Well, that's just wrong, and I guess I may need to get a lawyer to not pay any taxes in Putnam County, because not one person stood up and said that was wrong. And I just find it to be pretty sad. It's really sad, you know. And people swear an oath on this board. You swear an oath to represent and carry out the full Constitution. Is there somewhere in the Constitution of Putnam County that says we're not going to represent black people and people in the LGBTQ community the same? Is there something in your Constitution that says that? I mean, let me know, because then maybe I won't have a beef. But if you don't have anything like that, then I would ask you to be brave enough to stand up and speak out against that obvious racism and bias that's coming into your midst.
Public comment. State your name, the town in which you reside, and the agenda item in which you would like to comment.
Freddie Harris, Carmel Hamlet, just all of the agenda item. Not individual, no motion to break them up into individual. No, obviously I would like to say thank you for the soil and water appointment and what that means for how this legislature operates. I think it speaks very highly of you all. What I want to point out is for the public's understanding, and we talk about what local government means and how local government operates. It's important to note every single vote tonight was unanimous. The only time there wasn't a unanimous vote was for the two farms that were not recommended by the Ag Board, and those votes were bipartisan. Every single vote. And I think a lot of people don't understand that about county government. We watch the news, we watch what's going on. We are so sparked and pushed into division and distraction. But at the local level, in our neighborhoods, in our communities, it does not have to be that way. And you guys are a great example of how it is not that way. So I thank you for that. I think it's important for the public to recognize that. Over 20 votes were taken today. They were all unanimous. They were all bipartisan. The two that were not unanimous, also bipartisan. I just want to point that out. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Eileen McDermott. I am in Brewster. Is there a rule against naming particular people speaking directly to the legislators?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Is there any rule against speaking directly to the legislators?
This is public comment. If you have a comment about our agenda item.
Well, this is tied, I'm going to piggyback on Linda's comment, and it's tied to 6H, the PAC funding.
So I appreciate Linda's remarks. I don't want to get into political mailers.
This is very much about
sitting
legislators.
Grant
It's very
funding.
much about sitting legislators on this. It's about the comportment of this legislature.
If you have questions or comments about the legislator, that's not on this agenda, we would gladly take your comments.
Can I please just speak?
Carry on. We do like to keep it though to the agenda items. That's very well here.
Okay. Well, I'm here tonight to address an extremely troubling campaign tactic that members of this legislature, a candidate.
On all honesty, just to let you know, I don't think the campaign came from anyone in this body. I think it was.
Right, but there are other issues. There are issues that legislator Greg Elmer participated in very directly and publicly, so.
And again, that's not an agenda item, and I'm not going to allow the discussion.
It's kind of funny. He's accusing us, he's lying about the Putnam Pride's involvement in the Putnam Arts Council funding debacle that happened here.
And then you held
And participating in extremely homophobic and libelous slander online. And I spoke with you about it. You were the only one. I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to speak tonight. I wanted to speak directly with Legislator Elmer and the other people involved. Nobody would speak with me except you. You called me back and we had a conversation about it, but then I never heard anything. This is my only forum. So I'm going to just read what I have, okay? I'm here tonight to address an extremely troubling campaign tactic that members of this legislature, a candidate for the legislature, as well as the Putnam County Executive, have all participated in to defame and scapegoat Putnam Pride as an organization and the host of our annual Pride event, and myself as individuals. A tactic that endangers and scandalizes the entire LGBTQ+ community. And social media posts made by sitting legislator Greg Elmer and political mailers have been sent out by his opponent, a candidate for the legislature. Putnam Pride and I personally have been called names like pro-Hamas and hateful, and our event hosts' images have been used without authorization to further these candidates' fear-mongering and lies. They also continue to spread the lie that Putnam Pride received Putnam Arts Council funding. We did not. We are not an arts organization. We have never applied for a PAC grant, and we don't need it. We proudly supported another local organization as a fiscal sponsor, meaning that we received a check on their behalf. We wrote a check to the relevant artist in the full amount of the grant, and something we provided proof of the PAC multiple times now. Please leave us out of this ridiculous catfight about PAC funding that you're all using as a distraction to trick voters into supporting you by appealing to homophobia and racism. PAC is supporting arts organizations in this county and local artists, period. The idea that support for arts funding might be cast as a negative for a political candidate is truly bizarre. None of the bullet points in the mailer, I'll skip the mailer because that person's not here, I guess, but there are members of this legislature who very publicly support, as well as the county executive, and I think participating in that kind of homophobic rhetoric is disgusting.
It's un-American.
As a social media post by one of the sitting legislators, why is there not a rule about sitting legislators libeling members of the community that they represent? I don't live in this legislator's district, but many members of Putnam Pride do, and he has thus by default openly called his own constituents hateful and pro-Hamas. You all seem to forget that you represent everyone, not just homophobes. The First Amendment may give someone the right to defame and slander whoever he wants, not without consequence, of course, but the legislature can and should impose guidelines and policies for its members on social media comportment and censure them for bad behavior. I recall that the county executive himself once fought to have his opponent censured for false and misleading statements that he claimed led to the impression he was racist in a previous campaign. So he of all people should understand what it feels like. The difference, of course, as I know because I was there, is that the statement made about him at the time that he failed to address or condemn a racist incident was true. Whereas the statements being made about Putnam Pride are based purely on ignorant rhetoric meant to appeal to the lowest common denominator. I hope, Chairwoman, that you will review the situation and take any action that is within your power because it reflects very poorly on this body as a whole and it will be publicized widely. Thanks.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to agenda item number 9, recognition of legislators. Sorry, legislator Gouldman. Comment.
It's just nice to see you all out here, especially an intern I have here from Puerto Rico, whose family owns property in Phillipstown. He's been shadowing me. Gabriel Soto, thank you for your work this week and making me work harder this week and opening my eyes to a territory that doesn't have libraries, that doesn't fund education, that doesn't have all that I just realized I take for granted here in Putnam County. And this young man going into his junior year in high school just taught me that this last week. So thank you.
Anyone else? Legislator Jonke.
Happy birthday, America. Sunday night in Southeast is the Southeast Fireworks Show. Please come on out. We have some really hardworking folks on the committee. We'll put this together, and through cooperation with the Sheriff's Office, we put on a nice event up in the Highlands in Southeast, so come on out.
Anyone else? I mean, I can't let it just sit because I really so disappointed with this election season, what happened this year. I think it got really down and dirty, and sometimes political fights get down in the mud and the muck. I think we're better than that. I'd like to congratulate all of those candidates who won the primary. Maybe welcoming some new legislators next year, but I would hope that in the future we could have campaigns that we can all be proud of as Americans, as that are not beneath those of us on the legislature. And I'd like to reiterate again what Brett Yara said this evening about being nonpartisan and voting on the issues, researching each item and voting with our conscience and doing the right thing within the legal limits of the law. And with that, happy birthday, America. That's what this country's all about, is moving forward and, compromise. And with that, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.